Welcome you all for the presentation. I am Dr. Sangeeta DM, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangalore. Today we will be discussing on analysis of determinate structures 18 CV42. This is a video syllabus of 4th semester BE Civil Engineering. In that, today we will be continuing with the module 3. In my previous videos, part 1, 2, 3 and have been discussed related to deflection of beams using Macaulay's method and moment area method. In this particular video, we will be discussing about moment area method. We will be continuing with some numericals, briefing out with the previous sessions, and a continuation of moment area method is conjugate beam method. I will be introducing the method and solving some numericals on conjugate beam method also. Moment area method. It is basically based on two theorems. Statement of theorem 1 states that the change in slope between any 2 points on the elastic curve for a member subjected to bending is equal to the area of M by A diagram between those 2 points. So the change in slope between any 2 points on the elastic curve for a member subjected to bending is equal to area of M by A diagram. M by A diagram is elastic diagram, bending moment diagram, divided by EI corresponding to that cross-sectional properties. Second theorem states that the vertical intercept to the elastic curve measured from the tangent drawn to the elastic curve at some other point is equal to moment of M by A diagram, moment being taken about that point where vertical intercept is drawn. So we are taking moment about a point where the vertical intercept is drawn, and that moment gives the vertical intercept gives the tangent drawn to the elastic curve at some other point is equal to moment of M by A diagram. So both the theorem states, one theorem gives you the deflection and the other theorem gives you the rotation. So the vertical intercept that gives you the rotation factor, whereas the statement 1 gives you the deflection factor. Here is the theorem explanation for the two statements. Consider a beam AB subjected to a load. Let the bending moment diagram as shown in this figure. Consider a small elemental area dx at a distance x. Elastic curve is drawn, the bending elastic curve. So at two different points it is taken as theta. It is drawn, and those points you have drawn a tangent, and this tangent is called as theta d and theta c. The tangent making an angle is called as theta c and theta d, and both the angles is known as theta c d. And here the tangent which is drawn from C to point B is known as KCB, and the distance from C to D is known as KCD. Now with this figure we will go for the derivation. We know the engineer's equation, the basic statement of theory of bending. M by I is equal to E by R. Then R into d theta is equal to dx. Then R is equal to dx by d theta by the definition of curvature. Then by interpolating and by substituting the value of R in elastic equation, M by I is equal to E by dx into dx by d theta, and by rearranging we can get the equation for rotation, that is theta cd is equal to integral of cd into d theta, and d theta is nothing but M by I into dx. This is the proof for theorem 1. It states that the rotation that is the rotation theta CD between the 2 points, is equal to moment of M by A diagram, the area of M by A diagram between the region C and D. That's the theorem 1. You can state the definition. The change in slope is nothing but rotation, dy by dx. So change in slope between any 2 points on the elastic curve for a member subjected to bending is equal to the area of M by A diagram between those 2 points. Got it? So proceeding with that. So we have the elastic curve from C to D. Change in slope from 1 to 2 is taken as d theta. We have 2 points C and D. I have drawn the tangents. The change in slope from 1 to 2 is taken as d theta. The distance of the elemental length from D is x. Therefore, d into delta is equal to x into d theta. And d theta is nothing but M by A into dx. So, moment multiplied by M by A diagram is the area of the M by A diagram. That's multiplied by its distance. Therefore, delta from C to D is equal to moment of M by A diagram about a point. Therefore, integral of C into D, M by A into x. This parameter is more predominant. So, that gives the deflection. So, when you take moment of moment of area of the M by A diagram about a point, there gives the deflection. When you take area of an M by A diagram, you will get rotation. With that, we solved one numerical problem also in the previous example. So I have stated it for, and this one is from our previous video. So I am just recollecting it before continuing for the next part. For the cantilever beam shown in figure, compute deflection and at the points where there are loaded. So we have to compute the deflection at the points where there are loaded. So here in this figure you can see 2 point loads. One is at C, other one is at A. So you have to find deflection. Deflection means delta. So deflection at point C and A. So here when there are multiple loads, you have to draw M by AI diagram separately. You can draw it together also, or you can draw it separately. I suggest you to draw separately so that it would be easy for an initial learner. So first I will consider the beam with a 15 kilonewton load and the other case only with 10 kilonewton load. So for this, if I draw bending moment diagram, 15 into 2.5, you will get the ordinate and it is negative below the line, and here 10 into 1.5, 15. So this is from here it is 0, and as you go towards the support, the moment. So this is the bending moment diagram for both the cases. In order to compute theta B, in order to compute theta B. So here you have deflection and theta B. So theta B A, that is B to A. What is the deflection? Theta B A, that is the total rotation. Theta B difference theta A. So theta B difference theta A is, it is the area of M by A diagram. So first diagram is half into base into height. EI is constant throughout. Half into 2.5 into height is 37.5 plus difference. So you are adding it and it is below the line, so you are taking it as negative, plus half into 1.5 into 15. If you take minus outside, it becomes plus. If you retain the minus, it is negative. And this theta B is anti-clockwise divided by EI. Similarly, if you want to do for theta C, where is C? C is in the middle. So when you are taking for C point, theta CB means you have to take up to that point only what are all the load contributions that is coming up to theta C. Either you can consider LHS or RHS. If you are considering RHS, you have to consider only this portion. Got it? If you are considering LHS, you have to consider this plus this. Got it? So theta c is equal to 1 by ai minus half into 1.5, this part, 1.5, and for 15 kilonewton load up to this means theta c point means till this the area is contributing till this, so it is a trapezoid. So here it is 37.5. Calculate the ordinate at 1.5. It is 15. Half into base into, this is the trapezoidal area. Along with that you have one more thing for 10 kilonewton, half into 1.5 into 10, that is 15. 1.5 into 15 for 10 kilonewton load. So that is theta c. If you are doing for theta b, both the things, it is totally contributing theta ab. If you are doing for theta cb, for this theta cb, this theta cb. So two different loads, how much it is contributing? So that is 50.625 by A. Now we will go for deflection, that is delta b. It can be in small delta or capital delta. Delta b and delta c, that is area of M by AI diagram into its CG distance. Area of M by AI diagram into its CG distance. So first one, so if you are going for delta b, deflection at b, then the total load from both the sides it will be contributing. Half into 2.5 into 37.5, this forms a triangle from, and 1/3 from the base, 2/3 from the apex. 1/3 from the base, 2/3 from the apex, and deflection it is noted at the free end. So 2/3 from the apex is 2/3 of 2.5. Similarly, half into 1.5 into 15 into 1/3 of 1.5. So here the distance has to be noted on properly from theta b. Adding both the things, you will get delta b. So delta c is at point delta c, where at point c you have to evaluate. At point c means whatever it is coming before c. Half into, so for the first triangle, that is for 15 kilonewton load, half into 1.5 into 37.5 plus 15, that forms a trapezoid, into CG distance, that is 0.857. Next, half into 1.5 into 45 into 1. For this area, and the CG distance is 1.5, that is 2/3 of 1.5. So that's how the distances has to be considered. So deflection C is noted down. The answer is negative, so it is downward. With this concept, we will proceed for determining the slope at A, deflection at C, at midspan E in the beam shown in figure. So here we have a beam which is having a different cross sections. The cross sections are not uniform. It is changing the cross section across the span. This is a simply supported beam, so the cross sections are changing. So here it is 2EI, and the central span it is EI, and at the end span it is 2EI. The unit load is W per unit length, and the span is L by 3, L by 3, L by 3. Since the section is symmetric, the support reactions are equal. The support reactions are equal. So W into L, W into L, and for each support it is WL by 2. So that's why I am not going to do that particular step. I am skipping that step since it is symmetric. So I have written here WL by 2. Next is M by A diagram. You have to draw the bending moment diagram. So for a parabola, for a UDL, it is parabola. For a simply supported beam, you know how to draw a bending moment diagram. When a simply supported beam subjected to UDL, it is W into x into L minus x divided by 2A. I'll explain step by step procedure of how to draw this bending moment diagram. So the bending moment at any point at a distance x from end A, at a distance x from end A. So here this is the support A. So consider any distance. So don't consider EI factor as of now. So at any point distance x from support A, mx is given by W into L by 2. So total length is L. Total length is L at a distance x. W into, if you are taking bending moment about the section x, then W into Lx minus x square by 2. W into Lx minus x square by 2. How is this Lx minus x square by 2? For an UDL, the bending W into L by 2. Correct? W into L by 2. So at a distance x from end A, if you are taking bending moment, then W into x into if I am taking moment about a section, first one, when section is here, due to the support reaction, W L by 2 into x, and the second one is due to loading, minus W into x by 2. If you simplify both the things, W L A by 2 into x, this is support reaction, W into x square by 2, if I simplify, I will get the equation. You have to write it out separately so that you will understand this. So the moment about any section is given by this. So substitute with L is equal to L by 3. Substitute with, so this is M by EI diagram. You have the bending moment equation. Substitute L is equal to L by 2. So you will get W x by 2 into L minus W x by 2 into L minus x. This is the standard value of mx. At the central span, it is divided by EI. This is the parabolic curve. This is the central value divided by EI. So this numerical stays as it is. But as you proceed from point D, it is 2II. So at this point, this value, whatever it is, it gets divided into half. So whatever the value is there, consider only that half value and your curve is this. Got it? So total ordinate is at point C, but at this point the cross section is getting expanded, the cross section is getting doubled. So divided by 2A, if you do, means the bending moment value, it is getting divided into half. So the shaded area region, you are going to get the M by EI diagram. Now in order to evaluate theta A, area of M by EI diagram between A and E. E is the central point. Area of M by EI diagram between A and E. Area of M by EI diagram A and C between C and E. C and E. So C and E is a pure rectangle with a parabolic curve. So integral of 0 to L by 3 mx divided by 2A. and L by 3 to L by 2 mx by ei. So you have mx equation. For that you have 2 ei for that cross section, and here you have mx equation, you have ei for the cross section. Substitute with the terms, do the integration procedure, you will end up with the theta a. So 0 to L by 3. So first w into Lx minus x square into dx divided by 2 ei. Here already 2 is there, so gets multiplied by into 4 ei. Do the integration. Lx is Lx square by 2, x square is x cube by 3, 0 to L by 3. Substitute, simplify it, solve all the steps I have shown here. You have to do all these steps on your own, see to it, and finally you will end up with theta a is equal to 5 w L cube by 162 ei. Similarly, midspan deflection. Midspan deflection is moment of m by ei diagram. So delta a with respect to horizontal axis at E. Delta a with respect to horizontal axis at E. Delta a with respect to horizontal axis at E. So here this is point A, this is point E. So I want deflection from A to E. What is the deflection? So in that I'll take moment of m by a diagram between A and E about A. So moment I am taking the area of m by a diagram between A and E about A. I am taking this half portion and taking moment about A. So here I have two areas, 0 to L by 3 mx into x into dx, and L by 3 to L by 2 mx into x into dx, and for mx it is divided by 2 ei, and here it is ei. The particular cross section has to be divided, m by ei diagram. So moment of m by ei diagram. So integrate it, solve it, you will get deflection about E. So now deflection about C. Moment of m by ei diagram between C and E about C. M by ei diagram between C and E about C. So here this is point C, this is point E. M by ei diagram between C and E, and you are taking moment about E. So this is the area. So I'll take one area, that is L by 3 to L by 2, and there m by ei is 1 by ei, w by 2 into L minus x square. And what is x? X is the distance from support A, so x distance is x minus L by 3 into dx. X minus L by 3 into dx. Substitute, simplify, you will get what is delta C. Delta C is equal to delta E minus delta C. We have already known what is delta E, that is the midspan. So delta C is, here always when you are evaluating deflection, it is from a particular point, from A to E, from A to C. If you want at C, the difference between these two will give you the deflection between C and E. So you have to take the difference C and E. So you will get what is delta C. The difference of the two will give you what is delta C. That's about moment area method. So we'll just go back and recollect the things whatever we have studied. We solved two problems. One is with the cantilever beam with the 2-point loads whenever multiple loads are there. So you have to draw m by ei diagram for each of the loads separately, and whenever it is for the calculation of deflection and rotation, whatever the load coming from whatever the contribution of rotation and deflection from each of the load has to be added together. Now here you have two loads, so you have drawn two bending moment diagrams to compute theta b difference theta a. So theta is nothing but area of m by ai diagram. Ai is constant, so area of the two triangles you are taking, you are actually adding it. Since it is below the line, you are taking negative sign. Similarly theta c, so theta c is an intermediate point, so you have to consider the things which is before theta c, that is between theta b and c zone. When you are doing for theta a, b and a, whatever the area that is coming between a and b. When you are doing for c, whatever the area that is coming between b and c. So area that is coming between b and c you are taking, and that is a trapezoidal area, so you are adding it. So this is trapezoid and the other one is a triangle. And next, when you are doing the deflection, for the same area you are multiplying with the CG distance from support A, from the free end. So 2/3 of 2.5 and this is 1. Next, we had found the slope and deflection in a beam, in a simply supported beam with unequal cross sections. When the cross sections are not equal, then how to evaluate the slope and deflection. So in that case, when the cross sections are unequal, first you have to find the bending moment equation. So first you have to find the bending moment equation. Once you know that everything is divided by EI, corresponding to that particular span you substitute with the EI value and you keep solving in the same method. So for this, first I'd like to go for the bending moment equation. So here I have support reaction, since the load is equal and the cross sections are symmetric both ends. So support reaction is W into L by 2. Consider a section X at a distance from support A, If I am taking moment about section X, one is support reaction, that is making clockwise moment, WL by 2 into X, and the other one due to loading, W into X by 2. Simplifying both the things, we will get this equation, W by 2 into Lx minus x square. So once you get this equation, you can draw for a simply supported beam subjected to UDL, it is a parabolic curve and the peak value is this. M you know, divided by EI. At the central span it is EI. At the center it is EI. So the value remains as it is. But at points C and D, the cross section gets divided. Means it is 2 EI. So divide the equation by 2 EI. So the same value it gets into half and then takes a parabolic curve. Now if you want to evaluate theta A, area of M by A diagram between A and E, theta A, area of M by A diagram between A and E. So you can take area of M by A diagram between, because the figures are unsymmetric, AC, CE. AC and CE. So for AC, the integral is between 0 to L by 3. For CE, the integral is between L by 3 to L by 2. Area is mx divided by 2ai, area of M by AI diagram, and for the second one, mx divided by ai. Mx is, solve the integral carefully, so you will end up with the deflection. You will end up with the rotation about A. Similarly, you have to do for deflection about E and deflection about C. Moving ahead with the next method. So with that, I'll wind up the things related to moment area method, and I'd like to introduce with one more new method known as conjugate beam method. In this conjugate beam method, it is an extension of moment area method, whereas here, instead of moment area method, similar to that, one conjugate beam will be considered. So I'll just read out the sentence first and then I'll take you to the real beam and conjugate beam. This is another elegant method for computing deflections and slopes in beams. The principle of the method lies in calculating bending moment and shear force in an imaginary beam called as conjugate beam. It lies in the calculation of bending moment and shear force. Bending moment and shear force in an imaginary beam called as conjugate beam, which is loaded with M/A diagram obtained for the real beam. This is a point to be noted, which is loaded with M/A diagram obtained for the real beam. Conjugate beam is nothing but an imaginary beam. Conjugate beam is nothing but an imaginary beam, which is of the same span as the real beam, carrying M/A diagram of real beam as the load. So in the real beam there will be loading. The same loading will be converted to M/A diagram in the conjugate beam, whereas this conjugate beam is an imaginary beam or a replica of an real beam which is being generated. The shear force and bending moment at any section in the conjugate beam will represent the rotation and deflection at that section in the real beam. The shear force and bending moment at any section in the real beam, the shear force and bending moment at any section in the conjugate beam will represent the rotation and deflection at that section in the real beam. Following are the concepts to be used while preparing the conjugate beam. It is of the same span as that of real beam. It is to be noted that should be of same span as the real span. The support conditions of conjugate beam are decided as follows. So if in a real beam, if there is a roller support, in the conjugate beam also it will be a roller support. In the real beam, if it is a hinge, in the conjugate also it will be hinge. But in case in the real beam it is fixed, in conjugate it is free. In case in the real beam it is free end, it will turn to be fixed. In case in the real beam, if there is an interior support, it will turn as hinge, internal hinge. In case if there is an internal hinge, it will turn into internal support. Got it? So let me take some beam examples here. There is an original beam which is simply supported. So whenever simply support and hinge, there won't be any change. So simply supported beam, in conjugate beam also it will stay as it is. Here in the second case, one is hinge, the second is roller. It will stay as it is. There won't be any difference. In the third case, one end is fixed, the other end is free. It will become vice versa. The fixed end becomes free, the free end becomes fixed. And here, one is a hinge, internal support, free end. So hinge remains as it is. The internal support becomes internal hinge, free end becomes fixed. So here both the ends are free. In fifth case, both the ends are free. They turn to be fixed. Internal supports turn to be internal hinges. In the sixth case, fixed support turns to be free end, and the internal hinge turns to be internal support, and roller support remains as it is. So that's how a real beam converted to a conjugate beam. And in the conjugate beam, how to do the analysis for the loads? We'll solve with the numericals. And here, how to write a conjugate beam for the seventh case? The supports are fixed, ends are fixed. It will turn to free end. Internal supports are hinged. They will turn to simply supports. In the last case, the support is hinge. It remains as a hinge. Internal hinge turns to roller, roller turns to hinge, and it swaps. Whereas at the end it is fixed, it will turn to free end. That is a conjugate beam. That's how you have to write a real beam is converted to a conjugate beam. Conjugate beam is also having some of the basic properties. Some of the properties are as listed below. The length of a conjugate beam is always equal to the length of the actual beam. The length remains actual to the actual beam. The load on the conjugate beam is the M by A diagram of the loads on the axial beam. So in the axial beam there will be loads, and those loads will be converted into M by A diagram on the conjugate beam. The simple support of the real beam remains a simple support for the conjugate beam. A fixed end for the real beam becomes free end for the conjugate beam. The point of zero shear for the conjugate beam corresponds to a point of zero slope for the real beam. The point of maximum moment for the conjugate beam corresponds to the point of maximum deflection for the real beam. So what is the point of zero force, maximum deflection, maximum shear force? We will solve some numerical so that it will be a clear-cut understanding. So this is one small example I have taken for this. For the cantilever beam shown in figure below, compute deflection and rotation at the free end and under the load. So at both the cases you are supposed to evaluate the rotation and deflection. So the beam is fixed, one end is fixed and the other end is free. So to be correctly speaking, when you are drawing a conjugate beam, the fixed end becomes free end and the free end becomes fixed. So that's how we are going to draw a conjugate beam. Here is the conjugate beam. So how to draw? Scale is 5 meter, at C it is 2 meter and at A is 0, that is the starting point. How to draw bending moment? 50 into 3, that is 150, so that is minus. In M by A diagram, in conjugate beam it becomes vice versa, and this is M by EI minus 150, so it is above the line. M by EI, this is a conjugate beam. So conjugate beam is one where the support reactions it gets changed and the loading in the real beam gets converted into M by EI diagram. In conjugate beam, by taking a section at C, consider free body diagram of left hand side. Consider free body diagram of left hand side. So take a section at C. So I have taken a section at C, free body diagram in the left hand side. So upward is positive, summation of all vertical forces is 0. Area of M by A diagram, half into base into height. Height is 150 by A. At C, so this is section C. So before C, whatever it comes, the area of the M by A diagram, half into base is 3, height is, so that is shear force is upwards. Bending moment at C dash, half into base into height, and its distance is 1/3 from the base, 2/3 from the apex. So 2/3 from the apex is taken, it is 2, and that is minus 450 by EI. So this gives bending moment and shear force at section. Then shear force at A. Shear force at A, if you are taking shear force at A, half into base into heights, because this it is ending at C itself, so at A also shear force remains same. The area of M by A diagram. Bending moment about A dash, bending moment about A dash, this is minus 225 by A, 2/3 of 3 plus 2, so it becomes 9. So here shear force at a section in conjugate beam gives the rotation at the same section in real beam. So whatever the shear force you are evaluating, so here you have evaluated shear force at C, shear force at A, it means they are rotations in the real beam. They are rotations in the real beam. Whatever the bending moment at A here, bending moment at C, they are the deflections at the same sections in the real beam. So shear force at a section in a conjugate beam is equal to rotation in the real beam. Bending moment at a section in the conjugate beam gives the deflection at the same section in the real beam. So after solving the problem, you have evaluated. This is very simple actually. Compared to moment area method, this is very simple if you understand the concept of drawing the bending moment diagram and conjugate beam. So your rotation is 225 by E at C, deflection is 450 and it is downward. Rotation at A is anti-clockwise 225 and deflection at A is 900 by E. So this is one small numerical problem we have solved related to conjugate beam method. We will be discussing further some numericals in my next videos. These are some of the video question papers which has discussed about conjugate beam method and moment area method in their question paper. So moment area method, you have a question like this: simply supported beam subjected to point load, and this problem we have solved. And here you have conjugate beam method, determine the slope and deflection at point P. So here in the conjugate beam method, the point for the cantilever beam subjected to point load, you are going to, so the problem which we solved just now, it is exactly similar way you are going to solve for the problem that is given in the examination. Here you have, using conjugate beam method, determine the maximum deflection and slope at support for a simply supported beam subjected to UDL of W per meter run over the span of L meter with constant A. This we will be solving in the next video. Here you can see in the moment area method 2 point loads. So this problem we have solved in the previous video also. So such kind of questions have appeared in continuously in the video question papers. These are some of the references which are prescribed by the video books also, which are prescribed by the video. In the Reddy CS book is available in the net, and the Google ebook link I have provided here. Bhavikatti book ebook link is provided here. You can refer the textbooks in the online. They are freely available. Thank you.